let me hold your hand. Love to be your loving man. When you do what you do, ooh, yeah. Bye-bye, rockin' time. The heart sure is fine. Well, it's a fine little girl driving me out of my mind.
You know what's the most deceptive thing about Iceland? It's the sun. Because right now, you guys must be thinking, wow, such a nice weather, right? And it's all bright and sunny. But the minute we step out of this restaurant, the winds are so cold that your face turns numb. So we are right now in what's said to be the oldest cafe in Reykjavik. We just finished our English breakfast and had a chat with some locals. And they've already told us how the weather's going to turn throughout the day. So we should be bracing ourselves. So, good morning and welcome to Iceland.
There was a moment I was thinking about the time and the place, the strange and the difficult new, the feeling of existing at the same time, trying our best to make sense of the love that we knew. To make sense of the love that we knew.
There's an old saying in Reykjavik, which is that the smell of the city, right, back in the day, it was kind of like not very pleasant, but the Icelanders loved it and they called it the smell of money because the smell of fish was just the smell of money. This behind us is the place where it all began. Reykjavik first came to be discovered by the settlers because of the potential of this natural harbour behind us. And back then, you could imagine this city would have been a very small city. There were just a couple of places where they had like the fishing nets and the bait sheds. And these three buildings behind us, they used to be important gathering places for the townspeople. And many a stormy night might have been spent celebrating the return of the ships, or sometimes it would also be a mourning place when there was rough weather and the ships didn't make it back home. We also see the Icelandic Coast Guard, which is called the Cyborg. It's right across from us, that grey ship there. This is also like kind of a hub for the tourism and the whale watching industry. We see so many of those whale safari sheds right across from us, and quite a few people huddled in their red jumpsuits, ready to go out into the water.
I sing a simple song of praise to you, with a heart full of gratitude. I sing a simple song of praise to you.
We are at the Granny Method Film Hall, which is adjacent to the old harbour in this area called as the Granny area. It has basically a lot of these old fishing sheds and bait sheds, and they've been converted into restaurants and cafes. It was an island before, and then because of landfills, they've converted into this hipster kind of area, like the kind of place David Rose would have, like a boutique. And the food has been really good out here. We just had a pasta, it was amazing. So yeah, we are just going to finish this up and go on to our next day.
Transformed into a sea. Easy. I live in a world where it's hard to find hope for humanity and trust in mankind. I got philanthropic organizations selling me lies, claiming that the answer really resides inside.
1 p.m. in the evening and the afternoon, and we are going to the what's supposed to be the most recognizable place in the whole of Reykjavik, which is the Reykjavik Church, or Hallgrímskirkja. I hope I pronounced that right.
interiors of the Hallgrímskirkja church, and the one thing that strikes you as soon as you walk in the doors is just how much the interior mirrors that sense of scale that the exterior has. Everything is just massive, these arches and these columns and these windows, and it's just beautiful. And I noticed one thing, this is kind of different compared to a lot of older churches that we've seen, is that the walls and the columns are pretty bare. So I think they've deliberately done that because they want you to focus on the architecture, you know. We see people tying these woolen threads. I think it's something like making a wish or a prayer or something, because I'm seeing a lot of people doing this. We are at the tower of the Hallgrímskirkja, and we just finished at the topmost floor, which also has the bell for the church. But it's very, very windy because the grills, they don't have glass panels. We were there for all of 10 minutes and our faces froze and our hands are like completely frozen. But nonetheless, it's like worth a visit because it's one of the best views of Reykjavik you can get. It's the good cold.
Another crisp, kind of high resolution day in Reykjavik. A lot of us must be thinking, why early morning, start your morning in the cemetery, right? Us Indians, we have a very spooky feeling when it comes to cemeteries, thanks to the Ramsay brothers and Scooby-Doo. But then this place, Laugavegur, I hope I'm pronouncing these names right. It literally stands for the garden on the hills. This cemetery opened up only in 1838. Till then, the actual cemetery that Reykjavik used to use was a very age-old, very, very old Viking cemetery somewhere else. Around 1838 is when the city decided that, we guys need to have a new cemetery, and then they identified this hill right next to the city's central pond, and they decided to place the cemetery right there. And since then, a lot of celebrities and really important people from Iceland have been buried here. And the government also hired some celebrity sculptors who were trained from different countries to actually sculpt these tombstones. And in Iceland, the cemetery is actually called as the oldest museum in Reykjavik, because it is a museum. If you come and take a stroll through the cemetery, you'll go through a lot of history. You'll feel like you're passing through history. Even if you're not into history, it's always it's a great place to have your morning walk in. You'll also have a lot of company, at least in spirit. We hear a lot of birds chirping throughout the cemetery, probably because there's so many trees around here. And trees in Iceland is not very common, right? I mean, the whole country, you don't see a lot of trees. It's sometimes feels like a bald man's head. But then in this cemetery, there's so many of them. We see a lot of birch trees, poplars. What else, Pooja?
This is like, these are mountain oaks. They are very like, you find a lot of these in old Reykjavik apparently, and they are quite sturdy.
I think Pooja should have been the person talking about trees, but then we see a lot of. I put it this way: we see a lot of different kinds of trees. And every single time we read a tombstone, we feel like it's got a story to tell, right? So that was something that was really surreal. Some of the tombstones we read and we kind of visualize what the person would have gone through. Not the complete story, but you can imagine, you can visualize, you can build a story in your head.
Hand, the fist, it's carved from the rock.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I just saw it now.
It's like concept art, but on like this giant wall.
Look, tell the world I'm on a mission. You can feel that the energy is shifting. Less than one ain't nothing I'm comprehending. I dread losing more than I love winning. Yeah, I be on my grind. If it's number two, I ain't satisfied. I'm on fire. What I'm gonna do, they can't even try. Feel a vibe when I'm coming through. Can't ignore the signs. Yeah, you might be in the running, but no victory is mine. Yeah, I'm ballin'. Whole team with me and refuse taking losses. Know the key to winning more than running our offense. Do it for the city, give them reason to be talking. Anytime the competition see us, they get nauseous.
We are going to be exploring the street art and obviously also the food on the street. So let's go.
I really like this thing that they do here. They basically make noodles of the zucchini or the cabbage and put it in with the real noodles. So it adds that texture. You don't know if you're eating a noodle or one of those other things. That was so good. I think it's it is the best ramen we've tasted.
Mine. Properly should smile.
How?
Full wide, maximum smile.
But I'm not getting my mouth is frozen.
Try. It'll come. More.
There's a DJ in your town. Woo! Don't let your problem get you down.
Best falafel ever.
You forgot the hummus.
Hummus also. Everything is best. After that meal, I went and told the chef that it was the best falafel we had. And then I was walking out without paying. The guy had to call me. Come pay.
You're like, wait, I paid you a compliment.
I paid you a compliment, exactly.
He gonna sock it to you.
Did a little bit of shopping for ourselves. Got me a cap.
My organ, playing a funky solo. Oh, it may be my drummer that makes you pat your feet. Yeah.
I don't want to say anything. I just want to eat.
Woo, ain't that funky beat driving? Hey man, what about me? I hear the girl singing a simple song.
It's good.
Good, no?
Fluffy and pickle dip, right? It's really yum.
Oh, don't let your problem get you down.
Don't you think that the average quality of street art in Reykjavik is way better than cities in Europe?
I think, I'm not sure about it, but I think Reykjavik has like some punk art roots.
Okay.
So I think like they naturally have that graffiti culture happening. So you can see like they've invited artists to do up these walls.
So we have this place called Swada Cafe, and I mean we stumbled upon this restaurant when we were trying to find some nice soup places online, and this was one of the highest rated ones. And the reason I think it's amongst the highest rated ones is because they serve the soup in this big pan. The content of the bed has been scooped out, and they fill it with soup. This is going to. I don't think I'll need dinner after this. This is pretty filling. So yeah, that's going to be our last pit stop for the day. After this, we'll be heading to a really symbolic place for most of the people who come to travel to Iceland. When Pooj and I decided to come to Iceland, Reykjavik wasn't something that was at the top of our list. Like everyone else, we were here to explore the countless waterfalls and canyons and volcanoes that this country had to offer. But man, after spending 2 days here, the spirit of the city just diffused into our hearts, and we were left craving for a few more days to take it all in. Nevertheless, we had one last place to go to, the Sun Voyager, created to convey the promise of an undiscovered territory, hope and freedom. You see, in a way, it symbolized what we were about to do next. A 2-week road trip across Iceland, through canyons and waterfalls, them sleepy towns and towering mountains, hoping to discover this country and more importantly, ourselves.